Good Friday morning, and thanks for joining us on KARE 11 News Now. I'm Lauren Lemanchek. Breaking news this morning. The person that police think shot and killed political influencer Charlie Kirk is in custody. Authorities say 22-year-old Tyler Robinson from Utah was turned in by a family member after a nearly 2-day manhunt, and more video and pictures of him were released overnight. Law enforcement says they found several messages from the accused shooter online and on bullets found with a high-powered rifle. That suspect, according to FBI Director Kash Patel, was taken into custody around 10 last night, 33 hours after that deadly shot was fired, something Patel says would not have been possible without the public.
In less than 36 hours, 33 to be precise, thanks to the full weight of the federal government and leading out with the partners here in the state of Utah and Governor Cox, the suspect was apprehended in a historic time period. And I want to highlight what Governor Cox said. This would not have been possible without you, the media, and you, the public. That's why we went so public, so fast, and we're so transparent, and we're committed to that transparency.
Investigators say they're still gathering evidence from the scene of this shooting, and tips are still coming in about what happened leading up to it. We'll be on the story all day. Stay with KARE 11 Plus for the very latest on this deadly shooting. The assassination of Charlie Kirk has a number of lawmakers calling for less inflammatory political rhetoric. And this morning, the White House and Congress say they're increasing security. In the past year and a half, there have been attempts on President Trump's life. Arson at the governor's mansion in Pennsylvania, the murder, of course, of the Hortmans here in Minnesota, and now the killing of Charlie Kirk. Many experts have drawn comparisons to the 1960s and the assassinations of Martin Luther King Jr. and Bobby Kennedy just months apart in 1968. But as University of St. Thomas Professor Emeritus Kevin Sauter tells us, the key difference now is social media.
The thing about political rhetoric today is that we are no longer engaged in a dialectic. We're engaged in a fight to the finish to win. Before, we used to have conversations about trying to find an appropriate solution.
This morning, some Minnesota young Republicans are expressing their concerns, especially those drawn to Kirk and his college campus debates. A number of them are worried about openly sharing their views and beliefs after the attack.
Charlie Kirk lived free speech to the point that he died doing it.
It's really made people kind of afraid to go out there and conduct activism out in public when there's a fear that we might get killed for it.
Jacobs says he's encouraging his fellow Republicans to not fight violence with more violence, and for all Americans to remember it's okay to disagree. New this morning, one person is dead and another is fighting for their life after a shooting in South St. Paul. Police say it happened near 3rd Street South and 2nd Avenue South. Here's a look at where that scene is on a map. Police arrived and found 2 people inside a home that had been shot. One of those people was dead, another rushed to the hospital. The neighborhood was locked down while police searched for a suspect who was arrested just before 6 a.m. As you head home from work today, union workers and supporters will be rallying at the U of M Twin Cities campus. Organizers calling it an urgent rally to defend workers. 1,400 University Teamsters Local Union 320 members have been on strike this week over their contracts and wages. There have been some tensions during that strike. In the last 24 hours, a university spokesperson confirmed 12 people were cited and released after multiple warnings for interfering with public property. The U also alleges Teamsters told temporary workers they'd call ICE on them for crossing the picket line. Now, the union denies that, saying it defies logic because many on strike are immigrant workers, and also says they're not trying to disrupt, but they do want to be heard.
We're not here to disrupt anything or damage anything or be disrespectful. We're just here because we want to be heard. And then, we were told to, if they have a delivery for the hospital, let them in. So right away, they come out and talk to me, and then I let them in right away.
The U says they're committed to reaching a fair and equitable agreement. An attorney for the Teamsters filed an unfair labor practice for intimidation related to those citations, among other concerns. The strike is also impacting the upcoming Farm Aid concert. Organizers are threatening to pull the benefit concert from Huntington Bank Stadium if the University of Minnesota doesn't resolve the ongoing strike with its workers. The U Stadium is set to host headliners like Willie Nelson, Neil Young, and John Mellencamp in just over a week, and workers were scheduled to start setting up the stage today. But with the strike, Farm Aid says it may have to move venues or cancel the event altogether. In a statement, the organization says, quote, "Our artists, production team, and partners have made clear they will not cross a picket line."
It's really encouraging whenever any organization recognizes the importance of organized labor, and especially what we do here at the university, being service oriented, covering janitors, dining workers, waste truck drivers, animal research attendants. All of these jobs are crucial to the functioning of this institution.
Meanwhile, the university says it has engaged in conversation with Farm Aid for months, especially this week, and that the decision about whether the event moves forward is theirs. Developing right now, the owner of what was supposed to be the first pot shop in the state is suing the Albert Lea City Council. Jacob Schlichter filed a petition, in district court after the council denied registration for his cannabis business, despite having a license from the state. In response, the city of Albert Lea argued the court doesn't have the power or authority to grant Schlichter's request. The city also asked for more time to properly explain the reason behind their decision. Right now, mortgage rates are dropping for the first time in months. According to new data out in the last 24 hours from Freddie Mac, the 30-year fixed mortgage rate for the last week averaged 6.35%. That's down from 6.5% last week. The Federal Reserve is expected to cut interest rates at its meeting next week. Right now, the state's Public Utilities Commission wants to hear from residents about Xcel Energy's proposed rate hikes. Xcel is asking the state to raise rates 9.6% this year and then another 3.6% in 2026. That's roughly $490 million over the 2 years. Xcel says it needs to raise rates for everything from infrastructure improvements to higher returns for investors. They say it would raise a typical home's bill about $14 a month. The first of several hearings on this is Monday in Stillwater. Taking a live look now over US Bank Stadium, where the countdown is on. The Vikings playing their home opener this Sunday night against the Atlanta Falcons. We have team coverage of that huge game this morning, starting with Audrey Russo and what you need to know before you head to the game.
Believe it or not, things are a little bit more quiet inside US Bank Stadium right now, but they won't be come Sunday. But before you even get into the stadium, though, you got to get through security. It's been a long summer. We haven't had any football, so you may have forgotten some of the housekeeping things that US Bank has in place just to make sure everybody stays safe. So first and foremost, I want to talk about the bag policy. Now, I tried to bring this very bag into US Bank last season. It fits the dimensions listed on the website, but I was told that no go, you gotta lock it up because it has a strap or a handle. So if you have anything that looks like this, if it has a strap or handle, don't bring it. Contain it to a wallet or figure out some way to get one of those clear bags from the gift shop just to make sure, again, that you get to your seat and you're able to get to kickoff on time. And once you get inside the stadium for kickoff, which starts at 7:20, there's gonna be a lot of new food options for you to try. Restaurant Egg Flip is bringing beef bulgogi nachos and Spam egg sandwiches to games. Lord Fletcher's is offering walleye fingers. And don't forget about the Purple Rita. The color of that drink is unbelievable to me, very vibrant. And there's also going to be a new local favorite, Hippo Pockets. They've got these handheld tortillas that are stuffed with all kinds of good stuff, if that's your thing. So they are going to be here throughout the entire season. So that's another new one to try. Again, kickoff is at 7:20 here on Sunday.
Okay, so we know what fans can expect in and around US Bank Stadium. Julia Daniels is here now with what you should look out for on the field.
Well, good morning, everybody. I'm Julia Daniels. The Vikings are gearing up for their Sunday night football matchup right here on KARE 11 versus the Atlanta Falcons. Now, the Falcons present a new challenge this season with Michael Penix Jr. at the helm of their offense at quarterback. So it should be another exciting matchup for Brian Flores' defense. However, the real challenge for this Vikings offense will be themselves. We all know their tractors got to get more traction earlier in this game this week, and Justin Jefferson takes responsibility for more productivity.
Not really connecting on the first half, missing my first pass thrown to me, and I've been saying this whole camp that I was the target for JJ to throw at any time, and I'm going to come up with the ball. So even on that, just having better detail with that.
Well, you can watch that game right here on KARE 11. Our sports team will be live at US Bank Stadium on Sunday with exclusive interviews and updates. And we're not going to let all the hype go to the Vikings. The Lynx are dancing into the WNBA playoffs this morning with a new franchise record, a 34-win season for the first time ever. That's tied for the most wins in a season in WNBA history. And they did it with a blowout against the Valkyries last night, 72-53. Take a look here. We got the playoff bracket overnight. The Win set their first round against Golden State, the number 8 seed. The best of 3 series starts at Target Center on Sunday. The team's calling it their revenge year as they go for their 5th championship title. Stick with us. More news and weather coming up after the break.